Hey YouTube, coming to you here with a race from Daytona that we talked about earlier this week. It's round 5 of the Gran Turismo World Series Manufacturers Cup. This is a clip here toward the end of the qualifying session, which lasted 10 minutes. I am in the Ford GT race car. Now, for most of the qualifying, I was the leader, which was really reassuring that I was fast compared to the other drivers. But I ended up getting second place, as you'll see here in a second. And so we will start the race in second place. Now, one of the requirements for this race is that you have to use medium tires and hard tires. But you can use soft tires. So what we do is, in qualifying, we use soft tires because they're faster. But then we'll start the race either with medium or hard tires, and then we will pit one time and use the one that we didn't pit, and that's going to be my strategy basically. So since I'm toward the top and I'm in second place, I wanted to go with medium tires to start with, because my thinking was you can use the faster tires to build up a big lead. Everybody, I won't be fighting with people that are right in front of me. I only got one guy in front of me. I can either overtake him or he's going to be fast too, and we'll create a gap, and then we can pit when the medium tires start to get wore out and go to the hard tires, and then maintain our lead for the rest of the race, or my lead. That was my strategy going into it, and we'll see how it plays out, but that's what we wanted to do. That was a nice video they showed before the World Series to kind of make you feel like you're doing something important, which, because it's not just a daily race online, it's a tournament race that occurs at a specific time on a specific date every week. It's not every week, but while it's going on, it's every week. So round 6 will be next week. But you can see there I was in second place, starting in second place, second position, and I am in the Ford GT race car that I did a video on earlier this week that I had good results in testing. Now, that car has an advantage over some of these cars in the straights, but not really in the curves, or it can, but you have to be really good at driving it because it's very sensitive to input. So the car is easy to turn, but sometimes too easy, and it can oversteer very easily, and your back end can come loose, especially this being a BOP race where they're basically making all the cars as even as possible by increasing your weight, decreasing your horsepower. So the setup of the car is not something I have control over, and it can make it tough to drive. But I do have an advantage on the straights, and this track has a lot of wide open track on the tri-oval parts that I feel like I can take advantage of that. Basically, look at the lap times I had. But like the car in front of me is a Subaru. It's a WRX Group 3 race car, and it is very good around curves. It's an all-wheel drive car, and because my car is actually racing heavier than it really would be, I'm losing some of that weight advantage that I would have over an all-wheel drive car. But my engine, the physics of the way the car's set up, the engine is still in the middle of the car. So, which is a lot of high-performance cars are like that. So it's a good thing. So you'll see here, this is part of the show in the first lap where I'm just trying to stick close with him, and then we're going to pick it up here on the 5th lap, because I just basically followed him for those first 5 laps and just stuck right there close with him. So nothing from me or him has really changed. And I'm thinking in my mind, possibly I'm going to need a pit around lap 8. The tires aren't showing a lot of wear right now, but that can change quick. Fuel is good. I think they have the fuel consumption set to ×1, so I don't think it's even going to be a factor at all in this race. But at some point I would like to overtake him and get into first place. As you'll see, basically the game we're playing is we're just trying to hang in there around all these curves, and when we get on the tri-oval part of the track, that's what I call it. I don't know what they really may call it, but that's where I have a chance to overtake him. So you have this first part of the track where you go through, and then eventually you come to a chicane in the middle of the track, and you have to maneuver that. And then the next part is a longer time period. You're on control. Now, I did bump him right there. That was an accident, but it, you know, I didn't pass him, and he still gets to keep first place. So no harm, no foul. We'll fast forward a little bit here to where we get to the end of the course, toward the finish line. We're still on lap 5, and I am able to pass him and get in that first place. So I'm pretty pumped right here, and I'm just hopefully trying to hold on to this lead for a couple laps and then take a pit stop and change my tires. If he pits then, that's fine. If he doesn't, that's fine too. But you know, because I think if he doesn't, I mean, he's got to pit at some point, you know, so I'll catch back up. But I'm in pretty good shape right here, and we're on lap 6. So we're not quite halfway through the race yet. Now we're going to fast forward here to lap 7. I believe we're going to have to fast forward to lap 8. What I want to show you, this is a pretty pivotal moment in the race. And occurs on lap 8. So we're going to go ahead and fast forward to that. Here we go. Lap 8. Coming through the finish line to start lap 8. We're going around the first curve here into the infield road course section, and the back end steps out on me, like I was talking about. That happens more so because the tires are starting to go, and you can see he runs right up on me after I had built a pretty big lead and I was doing great, and he's right on my outside, but I stay there and I'm in first place still. We go through this curve, which this curve right here is a no braking curve. The tires are a little worn out, so I'll probably let off the gas just a little. Come to the next curve, and I'm trying to be a little easier with it because I know I just need to make it to the pit lane, and it steps up just a little, but I'm coming back on, and boom, he hits me, and then he hits me again and knocks me off in the grass. And I don't think it was on purpose at this point, but now I've gone back and looked at the replay, and we're going to look at this from a couple different angles, a couple different times, and you guys can see what you think. He runs into me, may just run a little wide right there, but then he comes back and he hits me again. And that's where I don't, you know, I'm not sure about that. So we'll look at it one more time right here from a different perspective. He comes around, he's on the inside. He doesn't have to go outside. He comes outside. He forces his own self into my lane, into my space, and knocks me off the track. So there, I'm determined because of that, it was on purpose. And he should have got a big penalty for it because it really hurt me bad. But I was able to get the car back on the track and be in 4th place. But something like that's hard to get over mentally because you're doing good. And you know, when I go back and look at the replay, the way they teach you in the safety videos or racing etiquette videos they have is, you know, you give that person space. Well, he had his space. He was on the inside. He was already straightened up. He comes over and hits me. And so anyway, I go into the pits. I'm a little, you know, upset about it, but whatever. Stuff happens. You got to deal with people. So that's going to drop me down, but that's okay. Everybody's got a pit, and I'm probably the first person to do so, and I'm not worried about it because I know those hard tires are going to carry me easily through the rest of the race. So when I pit, I chose not to take any more fuel because I'm not going to need it. As you can see where my fuel gauge is in the bottom left right there. But I am going to put the hard tires on to serve my requirement. And we come out of the pits and watch what happens. I'm stayed in my lane, boom, 3-second penalty. Why? I don't know why. I don't know why. We'll have to ask the makers of the game. Because I mean, I didn't cross the solid white line. The computer's driving the car out of the pit, so I couldn't have been driving too fast. Let's go back and look at it again. Did I cross the line right when the car was giving me to control? Did I jerk the wheel over the line? That would be the question to see, do I deserve that 3-second penalty? Not over the line, not over the line. Now the line's dashed. I'm still not over. So you say there's no reason for the 3-second penalty. So I come out of the pits with a 3-second penalty in 8th place. Started in 2nd, down to 8th, but nobody's pitted. But if I wouldn't have gotten run off the track, you know, I'd probably be in like 4th and 5th, and they would all pit, and I'd go right back to 1st. And that should have been how this day would have been. But it did not. So, you know, you got to get over it. You got to move on. You got to keep trying and keep trying and keep trying until they make you quit, you know. And even then, you don't quit. You just keep trying. So that's what we're going to try to do. We're going to serve this 3-second penalty, and then we're going to get our race on for the rest of this race. And you know, a good goal would be to come in third, because I did make an attempt before this race where I came in fourth and I started out first, but I wrecked, and that was all my fault. And they count the points for the last race you do. So you know, I had a fourth place finish, so I need to have a third place finish at least to make this have been worth doing. So I'm in fifth. There's 3 people in the pits. By the time we come around here, though, boom, it puts us in 7th. And it's 10th lap here, 7th place. So we need to pass 6, 5, 4, 3, about 4 guys, I think, to get a podium. But a lot of people hadn't pitted yet. So we come to the 11th lap. We're in 5th place at the 11th lap. We got a Lamborghini in front of us with a Canadian driving it. And we will pass them, I believe, I can't remember what lap it was. We'll see right here in just a second. Let's fast forward it. That's 13. Lap 13, I passed the Lamborghini. You can see him in the rearview mirror, and we're going to just leave him behind. And now it's looking better. It's looking like, hey, look, the guy in third, he's right there. Lap after lap, we're getting closer and closer, so we're faster than he is. And we got 2 laps left, and he's right there. So a podium is very possible. What a paint job. Every time the sun hits the back of that car, it almost blinds you, because this car, I think, is painted gold, which is very creative. Respect that paint job. It's not, I don't think it's anything I would do, but I mean, you know, whatever. It's a lot of glare. Probably gives him some sort of advantage, maybe. So we're lap 16, and this is a battle between me and him that I very much enjoyed. This is the highlight of the race, because, you know, I want the podium. He's a good driver. He's not wrecking. He is in a Genesis, which is basically a Hyundai. And I know they make good cars, but I mean, it ain't a Ford. You know, it's just not the same. We got the blue oval here, so feeling pretty confident about this. Especially if we get on the straightaway, he knows that we're close, so he goes high. And he's kind of, you know, trying to make it to where he's kind of all over the place a little bit to break our ability to get into a slipstream. But here on the straight towards the chicane, you know, he can't help but stay wide, so he can hit that thing right, and we're going to gain ground on him. Now you know, we're gaining through him on the chicane. We probably shouldn't be able to, because he does have a car who's better at turning through those tight curves. But anyway, we did gain some, and he's gonna try to break our draft. You can see, but here at the end of this lap, we get right up on him. This is lap 17. So my thinking here is just lay back. There's no need in trying to pass right here. Let's wait until we get on the NASCAR section of the track, which is the tri-oval part. To me, I call it the NASCAR section. And let's pass him there. Let's play a game where we know we have a faster car on the straight, and let's make our attempt there. And we can hold that 3rd spot for the 18th lap. Get the podium, get the champagne, get the national anthem going, and we'll be all good. And it won't be a wasted race at that point. Even though back of my mind, obviously I want to be first, because, you know, Talladega Nights, if you ain't first, you last. That's just enough NASCAR jokes. Probably not enough, but anyway. Here it is, 17th lap. We're right on him. You know, he's kind of going up and down, trying to keep us from getting in the slipstream. But we're able to kind of get in there and get a little bit of one. You can see I'm gaining on him. It's working. That slipstream effect is real in this game. And I back off a little bit because I don't want to have the same thing happen I had earlier in the race where I bumped the guy, you know, not intentionally. But I don't want to do it, so I back off. It's just not a good place to do it. But I'm close enough here that I know I can take it. So stay behind him. I'll try to get the slipstream going. Coming up closer and closer. We're going to easily go around right here and take the 3rd spot. So now we're in podium position. We're going into the last lap of this race. It's a pretty long race. It's a long time for me to have to concentrate, but we're there. We're not in bad shape. If we can be in the lead coming out of the road section, going on to the NASCAR section of the track, then I feel like there's no doubt we win. even if he passes us on one of these curves, I mean, still feel like as long as we're close to him, we're gonna win. Because it's gonna be just like the last lap, as long as he's not way far ahead of us. So basically, I'm just trying to drive a steady lap right here and not wreck. But my tires are in good shape. You can see right there in the bottom left, the racing hard tires. There's no red, so the tires, they have good wear on them, and they have a lot of heat in them. So we're doing pretty good on that. We take this last curve. We're in first. We're not in first. We're ahead of him. We're in third place. We're still holding our position. So I'm feeling really good about it. One more thing to do. Just get through this straight, get through the chicane, and then we got it. That's what I'm thinking right now. At this point in the race, that's what I was thinking. So we're coming down through here, and I have messed up right here before and got in the grass and spun out or went too fast through here. So I might have went a little slow trying to be cautious, and he's able to gain on me. So here we go. I'm thinking, go high. Don't let him draft you. Go high. Make him follow you. Now instead of following me and drafting and then waiting until right toward the end and slingshotting past, he tries to go ahead now. So I'm pulling a cold trickle here, Days of Thunder. We're going back to another NASCAR movie. And I feel like I got the better end of him, and the Ford is just running off and leaving the Hyundai/Genesis, whatever it is. I'm not sure if that's right, but we ended up getting our podium position, third place. There we are on the podium, the national anthem. We got the confetti, and we got the fastest lap of the race. So that makes me feel really good amongst these C drivers, good C drivers. We had the fastest lap. We come in third place. We're on our way to being a B driver. It's going to happen soon. We're going to get bumped up to B, and that's just one step closer to A+, and that's the goal. And that's kind of the objective of this channel, is to let you guys see somebody make it to a A+ driver from a C driver. Now, I did start out about a month or so ago at a D or an E and then a D, so just making my way steadily up through the ranks, and the more I can race, the faster I'll get there. So hopefully I'll get to race a little more coming up, and we'll get that B ranking soon. I think we can definitely get there. So just remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Positive comments only, please. And remember, roll tide.